Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to game number 3 here at the OlimoLeague. It's still the early rounds, and spawning here in the bottom right corner of the map, it's going to be the blue Terran player, Liquid TaeJa.
In the middle left as the red Terran, Spear.
Now, I know TVT can sometimes go a little bit like that last game where it looks like a coin flipping matchup. It looks like TaeJa GG timing and yada yada yada. But sometimes TVT just gets to be that really nice, oh, I wasn't looking, so I got punished for it type move. And a lot of Terran players, I think, would have still tried to have played that game out from TaeJa's perspective. But at the same time, this is TaeJa. You know, you can look at it from the perspective of maybe he just doesn't care. It's not a big-ass tournament. It's not that big of a deal to him. Or on the other side of the coin, where he knows he's played so many TVTs that if he did try and bring that back up, his percentage chance of winning was still under like 50%. So rather than waste time and drawing it out, play game 3 on a map where you can start fresh and anew.
Yeah, TaeJa's kind of an odd number, right? Like, you could always call TaeJa's GG timings because, you know. But TaeJa sometimes does play like his heart out. You know, like it's a $10,000 tournament. He has to win this one, so he'll stick in whatever he has to. But then other times, and I don't remember what tournament or who he was facing, but it was very odd. Maybe it was the BlizzCon finals. I don't remember. But he basically he looked like he was giving up the first 2 games in a best of 5, and people were like, "It was the BlizzCon finals, wasn't it?" I remember just being like dumbfounded. Like, why is he just gonna give up and 3-0 himself? Like, what is going on here? And then he brought it back in a reverse sweep. So sometimes he just says, yeah, I'm not gonna play this game. You know, maybe I'd have a chance, but no, I'm not gonna.
It sounds silly, but I mean, really, you don't want to waste that time getting frustrated on tilt, you know, playing that game out to somebody you might think is not worthy of your time, I guess. I'm not saying Spear isn't here, but seriously, for someone like TaeJa, is it worth playing 20 minutes of a TVT that you don't even know you can necessarily win guaranteed? So it sounds silly, but cut the ties, start fresh, get that clean slate, and win this 3rd game rather than lose out that 2nd game slowly, come in a 3rd game more frustrated than before.
Yeah. BlizzCon finals had me on a roller coaster of emotion, man.
Yeah.
It
was like there's so many good and bad things about BlizzCon finals.
Exactly.
I mean, we're not even talking about the games here specifically either. That's the thing, right? The issues. Oh God.
Yeah. Well, we have TaeJa apparently going up to Banshees. I mean, it worked out from the first game, so thinking maybe I should never have changed it. That was my problem. I don't know. Banshees do kind of well in Catalina. I mean, they're good airspace. Good for mutas, good for Banshees. Makes sense. You can't quite stay in the back, but it's still good enough. There's a lot of dead space too, so he's not gonna go for the tank drops, but I would be scared maybe, especially since I don't think TaeJa hasn't scouted where Spear is. I would keep that in the back of my head, like if he's to the top right, you know, I gotta watch out for that dead space on top of my base. Yeah,
I mean, it's a lot to do with the supply depot positioning as well. I mean, Spear's got this one over here, puts it down to the south. TaeJa's got nothing, so I mean, it does suck not being able to see those drops should they come. But more importantly, and I guess in this particular TVT, the Banshees are going to be the real danger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, Spear isn't hard countering this build. You get a, we got CC after the factory, I believe, or maybe after the barracks, but going up to that Viking again instead of a Raven, which makes sense for now. Like, that's fine. It's just that he went up to 3 Vikings before a Raven, and that was okay. So I hope that he's gonna go Viking Raven if he has enough gas. Of course, without a 2nd gas, you still are starved, even without getting tanks.
So just a small update for everybody. Olivia has informed me we will be casting Revival versus Gumio next, as it is on hold for us. So I'm really excited for that one. Revival looks so good in our 2 versus 2 tournament lately. I hope we can bring some of that magic here to the 1v1 scene.
Totally forgot about that. Yeah, Revival looked really good.
Yeah, if you guys missed it, actually, I'm just going to straight up say it. There was a couple games where Revival straight up carried TaeJa. Like, you would really assume that would be the other way around, but we do have that first Banshee getting in here. Now, the turret's not quite in range to cover all the SCVs, but the detection certainly is, so it's really what keeps this Banshee in check with a Viking sitting right nearby.
Yeah. Okay, so he's going to get a 2nd Viking before Raven. Still okay. But if he gets a 3rd one, I'm just going to be like...
Heck?
Yeah. We'll see. So the Banshee, again, is doing, damage that's... It's okay. It's making up for the fact that he did go, in fact, to Banshee and had a later command center.
Yeah, it goes about 3 SCVs so far. Forces a scan.
Okay. Alright.
Ooh, Hellions are going to take a bit of damage from that Widow Mine. Nice thing is he does have that depot wall off, so he might lose the CV building in the command center. Oh, nice second splits. They should be okay for TaeJa to hold on to this, especially with that tank out.
Let us see, like, just finished command center for that. My last wish. Okay, that was a much better cleanup.
Yeah, TaeJa holds this somewhat flawlessly. Very minimal losses, but the scary thing for him, for Spear that is he did just lose a lot of Marines. And later on in the game, your Marine count is kind of irrelevant. It's just fluff you dump your minerals in to keep your tanks alive and whatnot. But early in the game like this, it's actually quite a bit of damage. So the fact that he's invested in so many Vikings, and then coupled with the fact that he lost almost all his Marines, had TaeJa been going for some sort of weird all-in, this would have actually gone really well for TaeJa.
Sure. Well, he might still be not necessarily an all-in, but I think they could attack with a double tank drop. So 2 medevacs on the way, and he's gonna have 2 tanks. So that is a pretty good build for this. Because the thing about these positions, they don't necessarily have to drop. You know, if they're ready and waiting for the drop, you don't. You know, you just drop on the low ground and you just siege the low ground, and that still can be annoying enough to get something out of this build that you're trying to go for.
Yeah, but 2 tanks and 8 Marines, man. This was I'd say a really smart choice. He knows Spear doesn't have that much to break him with. He knows Spear's gonna have to pull SCVs and maybe lose some. I mean, the question is like what you want to damage in this attack. And Spear sadly also doesn't have vision on the southern part of his base. But TaeJa boosts right to that mineral line.
It's a little less powerful than maybe we are used to because there's no Raven with it. So there's no 3-4 auto turrets to draw fire and also add just a lot of damage. So it's probably going to be...
Ooh, it's risky.
Ooh, that was pretty bad.
A single secret missile comes out. TaeJa's not going to try and save the tank, but that's okay. It's actually not worth unsieging it. Even if you said like picking up a refinery like this might not seem like the biggest deal in the world, but it kind of is. It just draws away so much gas from what possibly could follow this up. Now, the Marines focus down the Marines. The tank's still alive here for Spear, but behind all of this, he's not mining from the main. He's stacked up all his SCVs in the natural, and TaeJa is just getting ahead mineral by mineral while this goes on. What I like most is while TaeJa doesn't devastate Spear through this attack, he does get a worker lead by 10. He keeps both of those medevacs alive, and he's really, really just toyed with Spear here.
Yeah, I think that was a very effective drop. You know, Spear losing that tank right off the bat really hurt. And of course, all that last mining time does play a huge factor. Now, behind this, TaeJa did slip on his macro a little bit. I mean, he's up 1,000 minerals at one point, but he slaps down basically everything at once. Command center, barracks, more production. The upgrades go down as well, another reactor. So he does spend it. There's a little bit of a gap. Spear does load up his own tank drop, and this one's going to be with that Raven. But he just used the secret energy, so it won't have that many auto turrets. Yeah,
more importantly, no chance of point defense run either had there been, say, a missile turret ring or Viking clump. But, yeah, the Raven, it's in TVT got this really interesting dynamic where it's not worth investing into a lot of them like it is if you're playing mech versus Zerg, but it's worth getting that one early on because it has so many uses to it. But trying to pay him back with the exact same drop, a little bit more oomph because he's got a third tank in it, but I just can't see this really devastating TaeJa unless he catches TaeJa moving out of the base. Now this could be awkward because they might just bump into each other here. Will they see it?
Oh, no. This is gonna. Okay.
Well, he turns around home because he thinks there's a big push coming maybe because the Widowmine got cleared up. But here comes that drop, and TaeJa, oh, he was going out, now sees it for sure. You're going to load on top of this directly. And, I mean, this really should go well for him. He's just got so much more than Spear does in this attack.
You don't usually see the opportunity to drop on that drop, but that just happened.
GG. Yeah, that was so bad for Spear. This is one ticket back into the game, and TaeJa took it away from him. So, congratulations, TaeJa. He will